The Mystery of Dyatlov Pass, a glimpse into the darkness. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most terrifying and mysterious stories of the 20th century, still puzzling researchers to this day. In 1959, a group of 9 experienced skiers set off on a journey through the snowy slopes of the northern Ural Mountains. Their goal was Mount Otorten, a remote and challenging peak. The group consisted of young students, all physically fit and seasoned in such expeditions. But this trek would prove fatal. All the members of the group died under horrifying and bizarre circumstances that remain a mystery. No one has been able to explain what caused them to flee their tent in the middle of the night, only to perish in the freezing wilderness. The disturbing details of the tragedy have added to the spine-chilling aura surrounding this incident. The expedition began in January 1959. Led by Igor Dyatlov, the group was in high spirits. Diaries and photographs captured in the early days of the trip reveal a sense of camaraderie and calm as they navigated the harsh landscape. They climbed mountain ridges, braved freezing winds and snowstorms, but continued onward confidently. The last photo taken by the group shows smiling faces against a backdrop of snow-covered peaks. It was their final day in safety. The next day, all traces of the group vanished, and weeks later, the world would be confronted with one of the most horrifying mysteries in mountaineering history. When the group failed to return on the scheduled date, their friends and families raised the alarm. On February 20th, a rescue mission was launched. What the searchers found at the group's last campsite exceeded their worst fears. The tent, which should have been a safe haven, was slashed open from the inside, as if the group had fled in sheer terror. They had abandoned the tent in a hurry, almost without clothing, some even barefoot, despite the temperature being well below minus 30 degrees Celsius. The first bodies were discovered hundreds of meters from the tent, near the edge of the forest. They were found in the snow, scantily dressed, as though they had frozen to death. All the bodies were found in strange poses, as if they were running from something invisible. Other bodies were found weeks later, buried under deep snow in a ravine. Some of the victims had severe internal injuries, fractured ribs and skulls, but with no external signs of trauma that could explain such damage. One woman had her tongue ripped out, adding an even more terrifying element to the tragedy. When the bodies were examined, traces of radiation were found on some of the victims' clothing. This discovery fueled numerous conspiracy theories. What could have been the source of the radiation? There were rumors of secret military experiments in the region, possibly linked to the deaths. The Ural Mountains were a testing ground for new weapons, but no concrete evidence has ever surfaced. Local residents also reported strange lights in the sky on the night the group disappeared. Some witnesses claimed to have seen bright orbs moving rapidly across the night sky, only to vanish behind the mountains. These accounts further fueled suspicions of military involvement. But what could have caused the group to suddenly abandon their tent in such a panic? Some theories suggest that the Dyatlov group may have encountered something ancient and malevolent, hidden deep within the mountains. According to the legends of the local Mansi people, the indigenous inhabitants of the Ural region, the mountains where the group ventured are considered sacred. They believed that spirits of their ancestors resided there, and any intrusion could awaken evil forces. The Mansi believed the group had crossed into forbidden territory, disturbing the balance between the living and the dead. Footprints found near the site of the tragedy were unlike human tracks. Some researchers speculated that strange creatures or even the mountain spirits themselves may have attacked the group. Another theory involves ancient shamanic rituals that might have been performed in the area. Some believe that the group, without realizing it, became victims of shamans who were protecting their sacred lands from intruders. These rituals may have summoned natural forces to eliminate those who ventured into forbidden areas. Of course, these are merely theories, but the bizarre nature of the incident leaves room for supernatural explanations. In the following years, the Dyatlov Pass incident became a global mystery. Researchers from both Russia and abroad have continued to investigate the case, but each new examination seems to raise more questions than answers. In 2020, Russian authorities officially concluded that the group's deaths were caused by an avalanche that forced them to flee their tent in a panic. However, this explanation does not account for many of the strange details. The radiation, internal injuries without external wounds, strange lights in the sky, and the unexplained condition of the bodies. In later years, even people who ventured to Dyatlov Pass after the tragedy have reported experiencing strange phenomena. In one case, a group of tourists who visited the site in 2019 disappeared for several days. When they were found, they could not explain what had happened, but were certain they had seen strange shadows following them in the mountains. They had abandoned their campsite, just like the Dyatlov group, and wandered aimlessly, gripped by an inexplicable fear. The Dyatlov Pass remains a place of untold horror. The mountains continue to draw adventurers and mystery seekers, but local residents still warn of the dangers that lurk there. Perhaps something exists in these lands that defies human understanding, something that science cannot explain. Whether cursed or sacred, these mountains harbor one of the most terrifying enigmas, one that frightens not with what is known, but with what is still unknown. Did the hikers encounter an ancient evil, become victims of mysterious forces of nature, or die due to human error? While investigators continue to search for answers, Mount Otorten is in no rush to reveal its secrets. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this chilling tale, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an eerie news story. Stay tuned for more mysteries and horrors waiting to be uncovered. See you in the next video.